Hi everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new project for you, perfect for spring. I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful two-step stamped element wreath with my holiday frame fillers set, and I'm going to be using the frame from my holiday frame set. So as you can see from the elements included in this holiday frame set, it was made for Christmas and winter holidays. But when you get the coordinating holiday frame fillers set, then you have got pieces that can work into all kinds of different designs and create wreaths for this center circle on here for all different holidays, in addition to sentiments that are going to work throughout the year. I've also got a little door handle and a door plate to make this design into a door card if that's something that interests you, which is really great for a welcome baby or a welcome home card. I have that in another video though, so you can look in my playlist for that. Today I'm going to be creating this design. Very minimal supplies for this project. We're just going to be using these two stamp sets. It's a single layer card, so we've got one piece of the Gina K Pure Luxury Heavy Base Weight White, and this is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4. You're going to want to make sure if you use any kind of alcohol markers, and we're going to use just 2 for coloring that bow, that you use one that's not going to bleed through. So that's why I'm using the base weight instead of the layering weight. It's a nice heavy thick weight for these single layer cards. The Copic markers that I'm using today, I've got the RV55 and the RV63. The ink pads that we're going to be using today, I've got the Memento Tuxedo Black. And then for all these beautiful pastel fillers on the eggs and the scallops, we've got the Gina K Lemon Drop, the Ocean Mist, the Bubblegum, and the Gina K Jellybean Green. We're going to be using some acrylic blocks. You can use the MISTI tool for this large frame stamp, or this is the 4x6 block that Gina carries. I love this one because it has the finger grips on the side, and it has those grid lines which make it really easy to center and line things up without having to measure. And then I've got some smaller blocks here. I like to use a very small one for the filler elements on that wreath, and then a larger one for doing the scallops. And then finally, I've just got some scissors and some little sticky notes. This is for creating a mask for this bow. And there's lots of different orientations that you can do on this wreath. This bow can even go up here, and you can go all the way around, but I wanted to show you something a little bit different than the ones that I've done so far in my videos. So again, check out that playlist. So let's get started by stamping out the frame. And I just love the frame for these different little arcs because it makes it so easy to create that perfect circle without having to measure. So here is my cardstock, and I'm going to ink this up with the Memento Tuxedo Black. And if you're using a block or the MISTI, you want to make sure that you don't have an air bubble trapped underneath this center part, because that has a tendency to pick up ink if it's sticking up on this large stamp. If that happens, then all you need to do is just peel it away to let the air out. So you want to make sure that you get all over, and I try to make sure that I'm going across 2 planes of my stamp rather than going into the center, so I'm not picking up more ink than necessary. And I'm just going to have it with the side that I'm stamping on facing me rather than out here. So pardon my head if I get in the way. I did that a couple times in the last video. I apologize. And I'm going to lean over just a little bit just so I can make sure that I have that pretty centered. And drop it down. And you could make this into a landscape layout as well. I did portrait on this other one for the door design. But I always make my frame sets so that you can turn them in different orientations just to change up that layout. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to start by stamping out that wreath. So I'm going to take, show this over here. I'm going to be using the bow stamp and the eggs. So I really like adding this bow in so that you can make a wreath that has a bow on the inside and then the other elements are going to surround it. If you don't have the bow, you can go all the way around, and this will fit exactly 4 times inside that circle. So I'm going to start with the bow because it's going to overlap the eggs a little bit, and you're going to always want to put whatever you want to be in the front of your stamping first when you're going to mask. So I'm just going to, I'm going to peek over again just to make sure that I'm getting that to the edges. And I just think it's cute, just stamped at an angle. And then if you haven't made a mask, you would just stamp this onto your Post-it note and cut it out. So you see, because it's just going to be hitting the ends, I didn't even have to trim that top part, but it's sticky right here, so that's going to stay on just like that. Okay, now let's go on and stamp those oval borders. So I've got these 4 eggs in a row, and I want to take these all the way out to the edge of that inner circle, and it's going to overlap just a little bit. That's up to you, but if you get off a little bit, remember this is going to go under that bow, so you don't have to worry about if you start too far out or too far in. Okay, and then I'm going to look at this side one and then the edges of that circle and stamp, and then I'm going to do it a 3rd time over here, so pardon my head while I just peek in there, and you can see it's overlapping the bow just a little bit. Okay, that's all we got to do there. Now you can leave it like that and have some room in the center to put the little teddy bear or a greeting or a die cut, but I want to make this a little bit fuller and make it look like those eggs continue underneath the bow. So I'm going to leave that on there, and then I'm going to use just the single oval here that I have, and I always like to do this when I have 2-step elements or these arcs, to have one single image isolated so that you can then create patterns or flesh out or kind of really fill out these arrangements. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put these at an angle next to the ovals already on that wreath, and this is up to you how many more you want to add, but I just think it looks a little bit more festive and full and fancy to have a few extra eggs. Okay, so again, you're going to leave your mask on there. And I think I want to turn one this way. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just kind of trying to make it so that the eggs are at different angles. Put one about there. And then put one over here. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave the mask on because, again, we're going to fill these in now in the different colors. And I don't want those to go over the bow. Okay, so, and I'll go ahead and add my greeting now too. So as you can see, I did a Happy Easter card for my first design, but there's so many different spring occasions that are coming up, like graduation, Mother's Day. You could create Happy Home or Happy Baby or Happy Day. So I think I'm going to do Happy Day. Some people might not celebrate Easter or might celebrate, but they don't send out Easter cards. I miss it a lot just because it doesn't always come up at the same time every single year. And a lot of you know I do forget to send out my cards sometimes, so they come a little bit late. Might be a little bit after Easter. I looked it up on the calendar. It's on April 1st, same day as April Fool's this year. So I'm just going to do the little Happy Day. And I just love eggs all season long for springtime. It's not just for Easter. Okay, so now we've got these different little patterned elements. So you've got the chevron, the polka dots, the solid, the plaid, and then the houndstooth eggs. So I'm going to start with the chevron, and I'm going to do this one in green. And we're going to just skip around so that you kind of have that color and that pattern bouncing all over the layout to just draw your eye around those different eggs. And if you're really particular about it, you can count. But see, I'm just skipping around and leaving a little bit of space. Okay. And now I'm going to do this polka dot one, and I want to do this with the pink. So I'm going to add just a few polka dot eggs. And these make such cute backgrounds too. So if you wanted to mask even more, you could go in and you could put some patterned ones in here or in there just to create some collage stamping with the eggs. I think I'm going to put the last one here. And then I'm going to go to that Ocean Mist. We're going to come back to that pink and we're going to do those little scallops. I want to do this one. Let's see, I'm going to do the solid ones with the Ocean Mist. Turn it. Let's see, I'll do one here. Could also leave some white if you wanted to. But this just makes me want to go dye some Easter eggs, do some drawing on them, or maybe even some stamping. Okay, and then I want to do this plaid in the yellow. And if you end up finding out, oh gosh, I skipped one, or I don't have enough of one color here, then you can go back. I'm just trying to keep just one pad open at a time. And then our last one. Okay. And then I want to do the scallops. So I'm going to do two different things with the scallop here. So you see we have these stitched little pinking sheer dotted and then the scallop, and these can go on just one section or all the way around the circle. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to place this, and either you can lay it down on your mat like that. Just do that. So I've got those little end pieces of each scallop, and I'm just going to have those hit on that line. Okay. Now I'm going to ink this up in my Bubblegum pink. And I want this, I'm going to just look for that outline of the outside edge and have those scallops go just up to those side borders. And then we'll repeat that down here. So pardon my head, but you just want to see that little black line come into view. You'll see it just right under that clear stamp. And then it's easier for me to stamp by turning the paper rather than trying to go hold it sideways. I think it also keeps me out of the frame a little bit more in my video. Isn't this pretty? Okay, and then I'll go ahead and just put this up here. And then I want to continue this design. I want it to have a little something down here. So I'm going to add it. If it fits in this section up here, it's going to fit down here. So you could have scallops go all the way down, and that would be really pretty, kind of like a little hanging banner from the wreath. So I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm going to take those Post-it notes that I had, and I'm going to go off into either of these sections of my layout. You can mask that off if you want, but since I want that little banner arc starting there, I'm just starting right at the edge of that belly band border. And pull those away. And then all you need to do now is do some real simple coloring on that bow. Okay, so I've got the RV63, so I'm going to do my lightest color first. You can leave a little bit of white in there as a highlight, as if you've got some really pretty silky or satiny ribbon. Okay. And then I'm going to take the darker one And I'm going to hold this one in my left hand, and I'm going to take the lighter pink and just grab a little bit of this darker pink, kind of fuchsia pink. I'm going to put this on the back ribbons. And then when you see the little shadow in my illustration, and on the underside, and then on the ends here where that bow is curving back under. And then I'm just going to kind of sweep that in. And if you want to use the full strength, just to make it a little bit darker, make it pop a little bit more, you can do that at the bottoms. And that's it. Card complete. I hope you enjoyed this layout and experiment with the different pieces in this holiday frame set. Please let me know in the comments which cards you like to make the most at springtime, or which of these fillers are your favorite and what kind of wreath you want to create. I am going to be choosing from the comments for this week's video, from comments both on Stamp TV and on YouTube. So please like, share, and leave your comments for me so that I know and I can draw one person from each channel to receive one of these cards. Thank you so much for watching today. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of our stamp sets, and at Gina K Designs and Stamp TV. Thanks for watching. God bless.